The week has not been good for Fox News, and in particular, it has not been great for Tucker Carlson either, because it turns out that he's talked a lot in his life, and a lot of the things he's said have been awful. And thankfully, we have Media Matters, who has gone back, combed through his appearances on Bubba the Love Sponge, a name that I just love saying every time I have to say it, and tracked these down. And the person who did that joins us now, the Damage Report, Madeline Peltz of Media Matters. Welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
I'm not doing well today. I'm going to keep it real, but I am happy that you're joining us and talking about this particular topic, actually. So thank you for doing that.
Of course.
So let's talk about this. How did this investigation get started? I mean, you obviously deserve a lot of credit for what it's been able to achieve in a very short period of time, but what led to this extremely in-depth, time-consuming set of research for you?
Sure, so I've been with Media Matters for about 2 years, and I've been covering Tucker for about 18 months. So that involves watching his program on a daily basis for that amount of time. And so I've been pretty familiar with what his current programming is at Fox, but I got curious about what was happening earlier in his career. One thing about Tucker is that he's had many different media careers. He started at PBS, where he was a legacy. His father was an anchor there, did long form pieces in magazine writing, and has been, of course, on CNN, MSNBC, and Fox. And so I was looking to provide a little bit more context about how he ended up where he is now at Fox. And that's how I ended up just poking around. And these things are on the internet, and that's how I found them.
I'm just curious. First of all, I apologize that you've had to listen to so much Tucker Carlson, and will continue to have to do so. But as you were going through all of those archives, we've played quite a bit of the audio here. What to you stands out as the worst thing that you uncovered during that time?
It's hard to pick one. A lot of stuff is very concerning, and I think is revelatory of what motivates him to produce this white nationalist, we call it the white power hour nightly on Fox News. If I had to choose one, I would say that calling Iraqis semiliterate primitive monkeys is a very disturbing and racist thing to say, and goes to show what he thinks of people who don't look and talk and think like him, that they are less than human beings. I think that is also reflected in his comments about the sexualities of underage girls, which he was not shy about sharing his feelings about what is appropriate. And I think that those two things combined show a tremendous, not only lack of judgment, but contempt for people who, aren't right-wing cable talk show hosts.
So I want to talk about the lead up to Media Matters releasing the first set of clips, because there's been a couple. He sees it as like a campaign against him, an attack, which I always find to be funny. It's just, you're not adding any commentary, you're simply playing his audio. If he's being attacked, I see it as him attacking himself. But I want to talk about the expectations that you had based on what you knew you were revealing. What did you think the reaction would be? And how do you compare that to the way people have reacted to what Media Matters has released thus far?
Well, I think it goes to show that Tucker Carlson's agenda and media persona that he puts on is extremely unpopular based on this tremendous feedback that we've received. Decent people are outraged by a grown man who, is fantasizing about 14-year-old girls experimenting sexually. I didn't think that we were going to get, this level of attention, and I'm glad that we did, because it goes towards not just what is going on with Tucker Carlson, but is revelatory of what's going on at Fox and in the right-wing media in general. That there's this systemic rot at the core of it. But yes, I mean, I've been surprised by how much, the level of response that we've gotten. But I'm glad that people are sort of tuning into something that's a really serious and ongoing problem.
It certainly hasn't gotten a response, but I've also been surprised at the extent, well, I guess not really surprised, I have very low standards for them, but I've been, I guess, worried by the willingness of many people who philosophically share quite a bit with Tucker Carlson to completely excuse wanting to sleep with or marry 14-year-old girls, the semiliterate monkeys, as you pointed out, some like obvious indefensible racist remarks have gotten a lot of press coverage, but haven't necessarily shaken like Fox News' support for him and that sort of thing.
Right, and I think that is indicative of the lack of editorial standards and leadership that's happening at the very top levels of Fox News. For example, if you think about some of their previous scandals that they've had, Glenn Beck began losing advertisers after he went on Fox and Friends and said that white people have, quote, a deep-seated hatred for President Obama. That was a big scandal, and he started losing advertisers, which ultimately led to the demise of his show. And so now you're seeing these types of white nationalist, alt-right identity grievances being screamed into one of the biggest media microphones in the mainstream ecosystem, and there's very little consequences for it. And I think that's why advertisers play such an important role, because the executives have made it clear at Fox News that they are not going to hold their top talent responsible for their irresponsibility and recklessness. And so the last line of defense against this moral rot that is infecting our mainstream media are advertisers who are sponsoring this programming.
It seems like Glenn Beck perhaps was just a little bit ahead of his time on that. He needed a president who shared a lot of those same thoughts and all that to provide cover for him. Is there more that we can expect that'll be coming from your investigation?
I'm not sure what else is going to be coming out, but I know that we reviewed nearly 100 hours of programming, and we found a lot of stuff. And I think it just goes to show that we're not out to embarrass Tucker Carlson. We're just out to demonstrate that this is the context in which we find his, media career, the state in which we find his media career currently. I think that it demonstrates what is going on and what motivates him to put on this persona that he does. So we were very specific in what we chose to release, and we're going to continue to do that.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your research. Definitely helped people to question some of the brand he's tried to build up around himself over the past couple of years. And Madeline Peltz, we appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for watching this clip from The Damage Report. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell on YouTube to get notifications of our new videos. And of course, you can catch the full Damage Report live every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on TYT Network on YouTube TV.